Hello, welcome to maybe your first class with me. I am Chelsea Diane. I am founder of Poems and Power, a global women's organization where I teach poetry and women to women all over the world, and I love it. I decided to teach this class particularly because this is the class that woke me up to myself. This class has the bones, right, of what helped get me to this place. It's step one. And step one is taking radical responsibility for your side of the street and realizing that you create your reality. No more victimhood. You can actually write your life into existence. And I have taught this for years, and thousands of women have done it, and you're about to. So make sure you have a paper and a pen, because we're going to be doing writing exercises, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite thing in the world, which is writing your life into existence, or poetry for manifestation. I think the very first thing that you have to say out loud, and say it out loud right now, is I am dedicated to the vibration of love. And just saying that makes everything less fall away. And to say, I take radical responsibility for my side of the street, for my life. And from this day forth, I choose to be the creator, the intentional creator of my reality. Get ready, honey. It's a wild ride. It's like being on an unstoppable train. When I chose that, well, first I was in the fetal position for a whole weekend. I was, because I was like, oh no, I created all of this, and I started seeing flashes of everything I've created in my life because of what I chose to believe about my life. But then I was like, oh, I created this, which means I can create my whole life. Now I can be very intentional about how I choose to move forward. And I have created the life of my dreams. Every day I wake up and I'm like, could it get any better than this? I'm so deeply happy, but it's because I took radical responsibility that day, and I chose to do the next right step, and to move how love moves, and to never move again, or try to never move again how fear moves, which is constriction. And love is always the best way because it's abundance, and it makes you big and expansive. Do you know that your only job here is to feel good? What if you woke up every single morning, and I started doing this, waking up every single morning and saying, my job today is to feel good. And I would say this, and you guys can play this over and over if you want. What is this? Like 3 minutes in. You can pause it and play this every single morning. But I want you to make your own too. But this is what I say. I wake up and I say, I am deciding to feel good all day long. I want to feel good even in the contrasting feelings, right? Even in the feelings that don't feel so good, I want to feel good about those because I understand them now. I understand that even those put me on a path to feeling more good because it teaches me about what I want. I understand that I came into this physical body and that my vortex is full of everything I desire, and that it's for me, and that it desires me. And that everything that is not yet manifested, that I haven't created yet, is just waiting for me to pull it out and put it into physical form. I realize that I am a vibrational being, and that vibration precedes manifestation, which means that true faith, honestly, an understanding of how this universe works is that our vibration changes our reality. And some of you don't want to believe that. Some of you don't want to take responsibility because that sucks. To realize, right? Like, it's me in the fetal position for the weekend, to realize that you created this, and you'd rather blame other people, but you're never going to get to where you want to go by blaming other people. If you're an adult right now watching this, you got to stop blaming your parents. You're a grown-ass girl now. You're a grown-ass woman. And it's time for you to move forward with your own life, separate from that, and make different choices than they made. The way I feel, I always said, is not in tune to what I see. The way I feel is in tune to what I have access to. And the frequency of who I really am and who source really is, whatever that is for you, whether you say God or the universe or an old dog or a star, doesn't matter. Love. But the source of all love that connects every single being, the source of universal oneness that lives in every single alive thing, I am connected to. I say to myself every morning that what I immerse myself in, may it be the most fun. Choose fun. Choose the fun way. Choose the path of most fun. Choose the path of excitement. Choose the path of poetry. That is the path of poetry, of excitement, of fun, of bravery, of love, of truth, of sun, of light. Pronounce every single morning that no matter what, it is your dominant intent to hold yourself to feeling good. That you can step into your greatest appreciation, your greatest awareness by living unconditional love and alignment. I fulfill myself as I am meant to be fulfilled. If it doesn't feel good, I'm grateful to my guidance system for telling me that is not the way. This is the way. Okay? That's not your path. My path is to feel good, and I can make that adjustment every single day. I want to explain something. I come from nothing. I have this image of the farm when we had killed a deer to eat because we were poor, and it was hanging and bleeding out in our garage. And you know what my job was? I mean, I get it. I'm sitting in Malibu, all fancy ass right now, but my job was to keep the barn cats off the deer. And they'd be like, trying to eat this bloody deer, okay? And I would have to get them by the back of their neck and pull them off this deer. That's where I came from. That's where I came from. So I know who I am, but when I was sitting there, I never thought those are my roots and I'm so proud of them, but I never thought this is all I'll ever be, pulling barn cats off a deer. No, I was walking down the stairs and announcing myself with a cape around, a blanket tied around me saying, Queen Chelsea. And I asked everybody to announce me. I remember my dad, who was at dive bars, rock and roller, he would have these parties and I would come downstairs and I'd be like, thank you for coming to my party at like 4 or 5 years old. And I'd say, thank you. And now it's time for you to listen to me. So sit down and I'd perform some kind of show. May you walk in every single room you enter and say, thank you for coming to my party. May you believe that this life is your own, that this is your worthy space to take up and enjoy yourself and have fun with people. So this class is everything I know. And I go into a lot more detail in other classes. I went to medical school. So my background, I love talking about the science in neurobiology of manifestation and quantum theory and the crux and how it meets poetry and how you can create your reality through tapping into your subconscious brain. And I talk about that in a lot of classes, but that's what we're getting to here too. This is your movie. This is your life. You are the director and the writer and the actress. You are everything for your movie. Sometimes I just say cut. I will say that in live. I'll be like, this is not how this is going to go. This is not how my movie is going to go. This is how it's going to happen. Next, cut. Many are asleep because you don't know the power of your subconscious mind. Some of you don't realize that you are creating your world. You don't know about the infinite gold mine that you are capable of love and acceptance and abundance within yourself. You've been lied to about who you are and what you're capable of because your parents didn't know either, or maybe your teachers didn't know, but you can draw forth from this energy of source anytime you want. You can make your magnet pure and strong, standing in integrity. You have infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind. You can receive or call in any life or any love that you want. You can create your entire outer world with your inner world. Your subconscious mind can lift you out of the prison of your thoughts. It can heal your broken heart. It can lift you from material or physical bondage. There's universal truths, right? And those truths are like, matter expands when being heated. That's true. Or water always seeks its own level. Or your subconscious mind is also a law. And what that is that you create your reality. The story of, there's stories of prayers and healings across every religion. And they've proven that faith heals because it's expectancy. In the Bible or any religion talks about this. A law of belief of old stories will keep you in terrible relationships, okay? It will keep you in a life that you don't love. And those are stories of what you believe. What you believe is yours. So busy your mind with harmony and peace and goodwill, and wonders will happen within your life. It's what you think about. It's what you are training. You're like a soldier training your subconscious mind. What you plant in that fertile soil is what will grow. It's the soil of acceptance. If you believe something to be true, like all dogs are mean, right? Then your subconscious mind will make you afraid, and your body will actually step away from that every single time. But you can train your mind that that's not true, right? The thing about your subconscious mind is if you believe things, like, for example, I cannot afford that. I'll never be able to afford that. And that is just one of your blocks, the scarcity mindset. That's not for people like me. Saying things like that. Oh, she's lucky. She did this with her life. That's amazing, but that's not for me. Your subconscious mind is the fertile soil. It will accept it, and it will grow what you say. It will make it true for you. Watch what you speak to. I have a whole class on conscious language and what you speak. God, it's like God speaking the world into existence. You speak your world into existence with every word you speak. There's these assumed major premises, like everything in my life sucks, like having these big premises, or I don't have good health or opportunities or love, or everything I touch turns out wrong, but not for me. I know, and I speak out loud, that everything I touch turns to gold. That beauty, peace, love, money falls like an avalanche of abundance over me. You set up the obstacles, delays, impediments to your manifestations. And you are what you think and what you speak all day long. But you have the power to choose, baby. You have the power to choose. So why not choose abundance? Choose happiness. Don't get to your deathbed and say, why did I choose a life that wasn't my own? I woke up out of this, left a marriage, a whole life that wasn't my own, so I could create one that was. All you have to do right now with your paper and pen, I would like you to think about your blocks around what you want, right? Why can't you have that? Why do you believe that you can't have the things that you desire? Write what you want and write what's blocking you. Now start speaking the opposite of pause this right now if you want and do this drill. This is a drill. It is. It's like an army sergeant. It's a drill, man. It's not a writing prompt. We're going to war. We're taking our lives back, and it's important. Start telling people who you are. I started telling people who I was before I was that. I remember I was at this bar in San Francisco with my best friend, and we walked into the bar, and I said, for one night, I'm going to be someone different. I was in a miserable marriage that I wanted to leave, separated from my ex, and I said, I'm going to speak the life that I want to live tonight. Just go along with it. And she was like, okay. And she did. We get up to these guys. You know what I say? I introduce myself and I start practicing. I say, hi, I'm Chelsea Diane, and I live in Malibu. I lived in Missouri. I was a doctor's wife. I hadn't been working forever. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't even know who I was at this point. They said, oh yeah, what do you do? And I said, I teach women all over the world. They're like, oh yeah? And I was like, and I also wrote a best-selling book. Also true, both of them. In less than 5 years. And then I remember my best friend was like, you forgot to tell him about the Porsche. I was like, oh yeah, I drive a Porsche. I spoke my entire life into existence. I said who I was and what I did. And it wasn't a lie. It was who I was. It was my deepest truth. I knew that's who I was and who I would become, because it's what was in my vibrational reality. You're going to write this today. Just wait. But right now, I would like you to say something. First, say, I cancel any programming that's not for my highest, for me and for the planet. And also say, I believe the subconscious power which gave me this desire is now fulfilling it through me. I believe the subconscious power that gave me this desire is now fulfilling it through me. It's so important. How would you act if you believed you were truly loved? Write about that. If you believed you were truly loved, how would you move? You would move like love moves. You wouldn't move like fear moves. You have to believe God is smiling at you. I remember the first time I did mushrooms. Went to the canyon and this rock told me she was Jesus and that Jesus was a woman. And that I needed to know one thing. I said, well, what's that? She said, God is smiling at you. And once I believed, I left that trip and I was like, oh my God, Jesus is a girl and she's smiling. And she's smiling at me all the time. But I really started thinking about that. And it actually changed my life. So I started thinking, oh my God, God is smiling at me. And so but God is everybody, right? And every human. So I started believing, I started doing this like little test for myself. And I started learning, I'm like, what if I believed that everybody was watching my Instagram story, wasn't judging me, that they loved me? I'm like, this person loves me. They're watching me because they love me. And to believe that every single human on earth loves you might be completely delusional, but it becomes true. It's so interesting. My Aunt Lisa, who's the most loved person, I think, on the earth, she's so incredible. When I was a little girl, I was riding in the car with her, and I remember this person was so awful and had road rage, and they cut her off or something, and they're like, roll down their window, she rolled down their window, and they went off on her, and I was so upset. And I was sitting in the passenger seat and I was like, how dare they talk to you like that? This is horrible. And I was like 8 years old. And I remember Aunt Lisa just smiled and she looked at me and she goes, oh, honey, they love me. They're just having a bad day. Can you imagine living your whole life that? Because that's the truth. It had nothing to do with her. And she knew it had nothing to do with her. They love you. They're just having a bad day. And to not take on that energy ever of other people. Oh, that's yours. That's yours. You love me. You're just having a bad day. It's so important and so beautiful. It'll change your whole life. If you start, it's just how you believe the world is looking at you. Believe that the world loves you. I walk down the street every single day and I do this practice in every country on earth that I teach from. I walk down the street, and why I feel like this is why I attract magic everywhere I go, because I look every single human being in the eye and I say, I love you, just through my eyes. I love you, I love you, I love you. And it opens up so many doors of so much magic. And they all say it back to me. It's like mirroring in life. And it's so beautiful. And it opens up so many opportunities for friendships and magic all over the world as I've traveled the world. Just, I love you. Just looking at someone. It's so beautiful. Try it. Believe delusionally that you are loved and watch how your life expands. Scarcity mindset would say, I can't have that. I can't live there. I can't do that. Living in Malibu is for rich people. I mean, the things people told me. And I was just like, interesting. But when you attach I never believed it. I don't believe people. Stop believing people. When you attach yourself to that energy or bond yourself with that voice and that energy, their soil of acceptance in your subconscious mind starts believing it, and then you can't have that and you can't live there. But then there's the woman that says, I can, and here I fucking go, and I already have, and those are the people for me. Dirac says, the only people are for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time, the ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, 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 like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding like spiders across the stars. And in the middle, you see a blue center light pop, and everyone goes, ah. Live like those people. I feel like because I've lived like that woman, right? The one that burns, burns, burns. I've attracted all these women that take my classes from all over the world that celebrate other women and that burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow candles. And I love that. Burn, burn, burn out loud. That's the only way your people can find you, is if you show them who you are. So here I am. This is me. And they'll find you from all over the world. It's such a beautiful thing. When I first started doing this work, I started visualizing it. And I started seeing all these women coming to my classes. And I started telling people, I'm the most famous poetry teacher in all the world. I am the best poetry teacher in all the world. Nobody is more passionate or loves her job as much as I love my job. Nobody gives her all like I give my all. I have so many women taking my classes at this point after I've spoken this for years now. I have so many women, I had to have a wait list so I can be so just intentional. And I can hear your poetry, because there's so many of you, and I'm so excited about it. And it's all because I first spoke it into existence. Also, yes, there's a wait list. Please get on it. If you want to be in this class, get on the wait list. If you can't afford it, I've been there. I've been the single mom who can't afford it. No shame at all. You can watch this as many times as you want. I'll put more free classes up. But if you want to be a part of women writing their lives into existence and more of this, I would love to have you. We would love to have you in class. Just put your name on the wait list, and I promise it'll get to you. And when it does, it will be a time where I can be intentional with you. That's why the membership is closed down right now. But there'll be periods of time where we'll open it back up. So would love to have you. You know what? I think that now is a really good time for us to write. I wrote this poem once that set the tone for my whole life. And it's my favorite poem. And it's called Spoiler Alert. And I told myself what would happen in my life in this poem. And when you dig deep enough to reach your subconscious desire and you pull that out and you write it, hold on, because it will come true. I would like to read that poem to you now. And I would love for you to write your own after poems. So write Spoiler Alert at the top of your page. And write your life into existence. Here's mine. Spoiler alert. You write 22,000 more poems. You fire your agent. Women keep coming to your class. They keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Your mother says she's proud of you. The lover that paints you never calls, never, not once after you sleep with him. You check your phone for 3 years and never, Chelsea, never, not once does he call. The cancer never comes back until you're very old and very ready. The kids never drown in the ocean or get kidnapped from Target. Your Jeep never rolls down the canyon. A coyote never eats your cat. Your book gets published. And my God, that too, that will be a surprise. One of your daughters is gay, thank God. You go to Greece and France and walk 10,000 more miles, letting every lesser love move through you like air, like air, like air. You give a TED Talk. And let me just tell you, you give thousands of more Teds a talk. You finally find a skincare routine that doesn't break you out like a 14-year-old boy. You run another marathon. Your ex-husband remarries this year. There's a barbecue for one of your children. He's holding his new baby in his new backyard with his new wife. He has to flip a steak. He hands you the baby. And you marry again. A few people sit on old quilts. He never not once takes his eyes off of you. You have antique rings you engrave. He's not scared of you. He's old enough to lose his mind over Roadhead. He calls you Star. He calls you Finally. So you leave him poems on the breakfast table. He makes you a mosaic into a peony out of glass that you broke. You call him a pain in the ass. You call him all day long. You call him your son, your entire fucking son, your king, your sun god king. And there's one morning you never forget. Not ever. Not when you're 43, the day you moved to Europe, and not when you're 54 and thinking about Botox, and not when you're 63 and holding your third grandchild. Not when you're 98, letting go of their hand. You're standing across the living room, holding your old cross-eyed cat after he made you tea. And you stop. You stop and you say, "This is my life. This is my life. This is my life."